Alright, today patient is a Toshiba VTD1420 CRT television, which is 14-inch TV with a DVD combo, and also it have two input, one SCART on the back and RCA jacks on the front. It's a lovely little TV from the 2000, so it was a very late product of the CRT lines. Now, why is it here? Because first of all, it's had a very high frequency annoying sound. What is came from it, and also the DVD tray is not opening. Now, be honest, I don't know too much about this device, so I'm gonna open it and see what we can do. But the normal issues with the CRTs is, capacitors, crack soldering. On the DVD unit is usually it's a missing belt, the belt is wear off, something like that. So that's what I'm expecting. It's interesting on the bottom. It looks like it's had some something designed there so you can tilt it. I think because it's very similar like my early CRT monitor, where you can put some plastic stand on the bottom and you can tilt up a little bit. It looks like that. I don't know. All right, so this model was in the UK. It's a PAL television. It's have a nice twin speaker, and it's have a coaxial digital output, which is, in that time actually it was quite a nice feature. Also, it had teletext capabilities. I don't know what was in the UK, but in Hungary the teletext was a nice text system, came with the broadcast, and I actually really liked it. You can read the news, this was before Google, and the wide spread internet, so you can check the lottery numbers. That was important for us, isn't it? And other stuff. Sometimes they had this very basic games as well. I'm not saying this was fully interactive, but it was something interesting. All right. Otherwise, it's not a big TV, so it's only 11 kilogram or 24 pounds. And I had a really, really hard time to take it apart. The 4 screws is very obvious, and after I started to take out the small ones, and I was suspect maybe we have a clip or something which is hard, but it just didn't wanna release it. Very interesting, the cable is, how is it coming out, the power cable. Unfortunately, this one has the built-in power, just like many of the new televisions, but yeah, it looks like a little bit is moving with the back plastic. Now, when you have clips, you just try to push in this metal opener. I just called it a spoon, but I don't know what is the proper name for it. And you try to push the clips. When you lift it up, you try to figure out where it could be holding, which side is moving more freely. And as it turned out, this was in the middle, so I missed the screw. Yeah, you just have to pay more attention. Once I take that one out, it was very easy to lift it up. All right. So, let's see what is inside. Now with CRT, you want to put something underneath all the time, so if the screen is down, then you're not gonna scratch it. because that one is not what you can fix probably. On the back, on the left side, there is the flyback. The customer had a hunch maybe the problem is there. There is the DVD unit hiding, and the power cable is going to the front to the power switch, and the main power is coming back from there. On the side you can see the two speaker connections, and the big thick cables, those are the high voltage cables. Now this unit wasn't plugged in for a week, so it definitely is out of juice, but still some residual voltage could stay inside. If you start working on these things, the best thing what you can do is just put it away for a month and after start opening up, because these big capacitors can hold quite a charge. I also using an insulated rubber gloves from this point, just to make sure, you know, I'm not start dancing when I touch something accidentally. Sorry about the angle. To remove the little cap on the top is basically you have two wires which is like a T-shape, and it's clamping from inside. You have to push them together, and after you can take it out. I'm gonna put a nice bag on that cap so it's not gonna be damaged any further. On the neck board, this board on the neck of the CRT, you just have to pull it. You can try to disconnect as many cables as you can. These are nicely, they're using different cables and different points, so it's like foolproof. So you just try to remove it, and that's it. Usually it's not much corrosion on these ones. Again, whatever cable you can. So we try to separate at the beginning the CRT from this board, so we can take out this whole board with the DVD unit and everything. So whatever cable is going around, you just try to disconnect them and keep them separately. Now, if you doing this yourself, it's just a disclaimer, this voltage can kill you. So, you know, if you have no idea what to do, then really take away for a month, don't plug it in, make sure it's absolutely discharged before you start working on it. If I would regularly work on this unit, I'd probably get like, you can get this discharger rod, which is safely discharge the voltage. But those are cost proper one around 200 quid. The Chinese one is not really a proper one. It's gonna make big sparks, and I'm not sure it's not gonna damage the device, but those are cost only 40 quid. Yeah. Something for something, isn't it? So we just try to separate the cables, and we try to figure out how this thing is holding together. As I can see, it looks like the whole thing is in a tray and only 2 screws hold it. So once you remove the 2 screws, you can take out the whole unit. Obviously on the front, the DVD unit and the buttons and everything is nicely fit, so you have to wiggle a tiny bit, but that's it. You can slide it out, and now we just have to make sure the CRT is not gonna fall down, so we put that one away safely, because the plastic case is not gonna hold without this metal enforcement. All right, so this is what we have. Now we still have to go a little bit further, because if we have any crack soldering, that's gonna be on the bottom side of the board. and also we have to work on a DVD unit. So I try to remove this shield. Now it's a lot of cable going. That is the power switch cable. Basically the main is going to the front, to the button, and from the button is coming back the blue and brown wire to the main board. Alrighty. We have a few screws here as well. So basically four screws on the side of this cage. These are a little bit shorter screws, and we have a few on the top part. Now this is a grounding cable. Make sure you put that one back, because yeah, so the grounding have to go all around, otherwise is a little bit dangerous. So make sure all the grounding, when you put together, all of them is connected properly. On the front you can see now the buttons. So whenever you press a button, this plastic, these are basically just forwarding the move to the little micro switches on the board on the bottom. Is same like in any Toshiba VCR from this type, from this time. They're using the same switches. They have a good lifetime. I think I only had to replace one maybe, but I don't think you have a problem with those unless you have a liquid damage or something. Now the cage also, yeah, one screw there and four on the top as well. Yeah, I still missed one, but almost there. If you miss one, you just start wiggling and you can see where it's stuck. And you just continue from there. Come on. Sorry, I had a customer at the meantime. Even if it's weekend and we are closed, people are trying to knock on the door. All right, here we go. So now we can see a little bit further. So the DVD unit is suspended on this metal bracket, and the metal bracket is held by four screws. Unfortunately, the CD unit, I tried to see what we can do, but not much from here, from this point. I have to remove the whole unit, but I can't see any belt or anything, but everything is under the tray, so, you know, not much to see here, isn't it? Now, it's a little bit dirty, but that's my main culprit, that little capacitor. That looks really bad. The rest looks okay-ish. Okay, it's dirty, but not like really dirty, not really rusty or anything. It's just mostly dust. High voltage is pulling all the dust together, and it's built up with the time. And this one have a few mice on it. Now if you take a look on the bottom, you can see where are the screws what we are looking for. So we should have four screws which is holding this cage. Those are going through. Let's remove them and maybe we can see a little bit more after that. Now I could download the service manual and probably make my life easier because it's still available. But in that case, where is the fan? Isn't it? So it's maybe take an extra 20 minutes to work on it, but at least I get some practice how to work with this old stuff, because service manual is not available for all the models. So you have to keep your mind sharp. Unfortunately, these screws are not really magnetic from some reason, and a little bit harder to remove them. If you have any chance that some charge is still on the board, then be extra careful. I saw sparks before when I dropped back a screw, and it's making a lot of extra work what you have to fix later on. Alright, once we removed this, we can lift up the CD-ROM cage, a DVD-ROM cage, and we can take a look. Obviously, we have to be careful with the connections to the main board. It's probably just gonna be a data line and a power. All right. And yes, there is the cables. Sorry about the angle. Here we go. Nicely separate. And we can take a look on the rest. So before I going any further, I want to see what I'm working on. So I give a little cleaning. It's not a big one, but it's do the job. Now, if yours have anything like I have seen TVs when something is spilled inside, or it was found on the street or something, then yes, you can wash this whole board. The only thing, after you have to dry up with something with a big airflow and let it dry for 24 hours and at least, and you should be fine basically. As long you really dry up quickly, it's not gonna give you any additional rust, but it's gonna be much cleaner. Now, it's coming off nicely from this metal bracket, so that's good. Now, some cables are soldered, so you don't want to disconnect those unless it's really necessary. Now, on the bottom, so where we mostly have the crack soldering, that parts are covered with this plastic thing, which is, I think, is just keep the high voltage away. Now it's using clips and screws as well. So I think they saw the future when the plastic will be so old that it's gonna break. So they also ordered some extra screws, which is nice. By the way, I keep these screws all separately. We have these holders where, I'm just going in order, and when I assemble back together, then I'm just going back in order. So I always knew where do I need these screws. Now this plastic also gives an extra support for the board, so be extra careful when you move it around. I love the spring on the tuner, around the tuner connection. So that one basically is give a nice ground there when you hook up the cable. All right. We're gonna continue from here in the next episode. Please subscribe and tell me if you like this type of old equipment and not just the new one. Thank you. Bye-bye.